Three, two, one. How's it going, guys? It's me, it's RDV. I'm flying solo tonight. Mr. Eric Breen sadly could not join us because he is getting his computer swapped out with a new one. So, well, he'll be back soon. Zach is away. We're in Texas somewhere. So if you're over there, avoid that area. Just want to say if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. Uh, Basically, we have a lot of cool content here on this channel, and we're not really your normal channel here. We have two freaking hand puppets that freaking review TV shows. Something's not right with us. And then we have, well, me, and then we also have Zach come on, and then Eric Breen come on, and we review comic books. And then there's also the readings on Fridays and Sunday nights, man. Those are just fun. Speaking of readings, I probably might not be one tomorrow. There might be one. If there is a reading, it's going to be a pre-recorded one. We got a couple still left in the vault. A few people cannot make it for the reading tomorrow, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. All right, what's going on, Eloise? How's it going? She's first tonight. Then we have Marania saying, "Hey there, let's learn what the best books of the week for our DVD." Well, the good thing about me flying solo, I have enough books for both people. For me and Zach, who's not here. Now the sound is broken on the old computer, down to watching on my phone. At this point, Eric, just hit it with a baseball bat. Just put it out his misery. He got the new one already. Just take it outside and beat the living shit out of it. And then you can bury it. All right, so yeah, so got a few books tonight. Kind of excited because I didn't have to buy that many books this week. They're all coming out next week. Everything got pushed to the next week. And then with the delays we had for some of the Marvel books and the IDW books that were on that truck that got in the accident 2 weeks ago, some of those books are being pushed out a little later. But curious to see what happens. But good thing is that the only book I'm looking for there is from that it'd be like Storm, which I believe is coming out next week. So it got delayed. What's going on, Mark McGrath? Good to see you. And everybody else who hasn't commented. I know we have about 9 people watching tonight. So always thankful. No, we got 10 now. Great. Beat that whole computer. How you feel about current Marvel or DC, Eric? Well, I don't know how he would feel about current Marvel or DC because for him, Marvel ended it in 2012. Maybe DC. Just picture Megan Fitzmartin just writing all your favorite characters. At this point, can we just agree that Megan Fitzmartin is worse than Brian Michael Bendis? At least with Brian Michael Bendis, we kind of know what we're gonna get, and he somewhat can write. It's not the best, but we're not getting someone who just blatantly hates everything. But oh well. All right, so let's go through. I did get a back issue, plus I did get a trade. It's considered a back issue. I got a few. So I had 11 books tonight. There was only one book I didn't get a chance to read, and that is this book right here by Blake Northcott. So basically, this is the North Valley of Grimoire. And I was looking on the inside, and it actually looks pretty good. I mean, now, I guess you'd say maybe it's on par with the 007 book I've been reading with Phil Kennedy Johnson over at I believe Image. And I think it's Dynamite, not Image. But so basically, what I've learned from reading some of the summaries people have written on here, and not spoilers, but I mean, this book came out. It was a Kickstarter project back in 2018 by Blake Northcott. It's finally just got a home through a publishing company. It's going through Whatnot Publishing. You can see right there. There's another book I've been getting through them with the Wesley Snipes book. It's called The Exiled. So far, I'm assuming this is going to be just as good or even better. I do like Blake Northcott's writing. And so basically the description I've got about this is basically if Mulder had like a magic or like a really cool magic watch, and then you had Scully was like had a hold of the dark hold, like if she was like a sorceress. Kind of a X-Files kind of a James Bond. I mean, it looks kind of cool. Like I said, some pretty cool artwork in here. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's go on to him. He says that Megan Fitzmartin is a female version of Brian Michael Bendis. Honestly, I think Brian Michael Bendis is better than Megan. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about Brian Michael Bendis that he's done is Superman. Other than that, New Avengers, I think the very first run he did was good. I did like his Ultimate Spider-Man. I also took in the fact that it was not main continuity, so he wasn't really doing anything that was bad. If anything, it was the Ultimates that was, I think it was being written by Mark Millar or was it Jeff? I can't remember who it was, but they were like just the Ultimate Universe just turned all of like the good Avengers like Captain America and Tony Stark just took into the worst version of themselves. I didn't like it, but hello to Tommy Stone, number one. What's going on, man? Thank you for joining us on Twitch. Hope you enjoy this, our content. We're normally what I try to do is I try to stream to Twitch recently, but I've also go on streaming on YouTube. So check us out on YouTube as well. It's the same name, Geeky Puppet Show. We do a lot of our stuff as far as our past videos are now are basically saved on YouTube because for whatever reason the Twitch decides they only want to save for like a week and then they delete them, I guess, which kind of sucks. But I guess it makes room for more stuff. They have more people on the server. All right. Mark guessing that Bendis was good until he wasn't. Megan Fitzmartin was never good and has never produced work worth reading. True. I mean, her Robin series is just mediocre at best, if it's not offensive. What was the other one? She did Future State, Young Justice. Was it like a gender flipped, or was it for the DC Pride Month? I guess they had last year. It was not good at all. But wait, Bendis did X-Men? Did not know that. I know he was on Legion, and I thought he tackled Young Justice. Like I said, as far as the two things I read by Bendis was Superman and Ultimate Spider-Man. I really didn't delve into anything else. I didn't even check out his what you call it, his indie books, but so anyway. All right, so we'll get to my number 10. Number 10 tonight is actually kind of surprised. It's kind of lower on my list. It's not like up to like the top 5. It's through Zenescope. It is Robin Hood and Spawn. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that word. You guys can pronounce it at home. It's continuation, I guess, from her last story one shots and this is one thing I don't care about DC or not DC, but Zenescope. Zenescope used to do 6-issue miniseries, and then you get like an annual, and then they go to the next 6. This is all we're getting, or you get a 72-page. There's no 1 through 6 anymore. They dropped that, and to me, it kind of like I don't care for that unless you're gonna drop 72 issue of Robin Hood or Belle once a month, or 72 pages, sorry, not 72 issues, but because at this point, just do an ongoing. Just do what Marvel used to do, or some of the companies do. Just start at 1 and just keep going. And that's all you need to do, And then, hey, if you want to have another person jump on, do a creative team instead of the normal person, keep the same numbering. It makes it so much easier for someone who's going back in to actually look up the stuff and say, hey, let me check out this. Wait, it's a number 1. It's a number 1. It's a number 1. But the good thing, though, is that they're not doing any numbers on this. There's no legacy numbers. It's just by chapter or a title. Robin Hood, Spawn of, I'm not going to try and pronounce it. But so this just felt kind of like, I guess, boring to me. So these creatures are events. Two children are being abducted by squids. You know, she wakes and it connects to her dream. She's had some really weird dreams. She ends up going against some of these creatures from Lagoon on this cargo ship on the water. Meanwhile, we're also getting a flashback from when she was little. You know, she was being picked on some bullies here, and her mother, who was dying, because they're making fun of her, telling your mom's crazy. That's why she's in the hospital. She's like, no, she's not. So, and you get this like this little motivational speech from her mom, saying it's like, you know, hey, you can't always, you don't always pick the battles that you are, you know, but the good thing is like, you know, you need to like, she says like, she's okay, so basically what she says here, you can't win every battle, Robin. No one can. But it's not always about winning. The battle itself tells you what you are made of. And when you're on top of the world, when things are going well, anyone can look like a champ. It says, but when things go bad, most of the people in this world fold like a piece of paper. Life is hard. There's no getting around that. And it's for you to and for you it's going to be the worse than for most people. But it doesn't change the facts. It's when things don't go your way. It's when things are so hard, you just want to give up. And just when you really find out what you're made of. And even if you don't win, you still prove what you're worth. So you see how your mom's giving you a little pep speech, you know, when she's on the flashback. And she's basically just kicks the shit out of these kids. So I mean, I like seeing more of a childhood, but then as we get to see the big bad guy in this issue is this little giant monster guy. They're really dragging this whole Cthulhu story out. And then like there's so of course for those who know the whole story with Robin is from Mist. She's like a child of darkness, but she overcame it. So now she's able to in tune with her powers, you know, summon a weapon if she wants to, and just basically just beats the shit out of this guy, this monster. They're using like electrical bolts. And then we get like this chaos goddess who basically has been interfering with her for the past two story arcs. So, you know, and then yeah. But going forward though, like I said, I just want, it just feels like I've been waiting so long between issues and I'm not getting much bang for my buck. And then it's not a pun because it's cheesecake. But anyway, that's why it's my number 10. Number 9 is another one. It's the final issue of this run. I'm not sure when this character is coming back, or at least with this writer. I know that Christopher Priest is continuing his run on with another volume, but Vampiro Strikes, the final issue. They finally figure out her teaming up with a werewolf creature, and they're in like the slum part of like where all the monsters live. This little girl has been abducted, monster girl, and you get to see basically down there, Vampirella basically unleashes her dark side. Basically, you call it. Let me see the page. Because Vampirella, since Adventures of Vampirella continued in 2019, she's had like this monstrous side. She tries to keep in check all the time because she, you know, being a daughter of Lilith, she's always struggling to keep the balance, you know, fight her hunger and all that stuff. So finally, she lets loose. She lets that monster side free, and it just tears apart this old like ancient demon that's, you know, killing people and collecting their souls, and trying to bring apocalypse. So basically, at the end of this, we do learn that there is going to be another one. I think it's going to be called Vampirella Apocalypse. Like I said, I do like Tom Sienicki's writing. I just feel like it's not as good when he came back with the 2019 events of Vampirella, continuing battling against Nyx and, you know, trying to save the what you call it, the apocalyptic world that was left because Nyx took over after killing Vampirella. But yeah. All right. Number 8 is Scorch. Scorch has been interesting for me because I'm not a huge Spawn person. And when it comes to Spawn, it's just like, okay, I've seen the movie, I've read the few comics here and there. I don't understand why it's so popular of a character. I mean, it's Todd McFarlane's art, cool, but Todd McFarlane's not that great of a writer. So what helped him for this, I guess, is the fact it's done by Sean Lewis, who's doing the storytelling, and it's Steven Segovia doing the art on the interior. So you're getting at least quality art with the storytelling. And basically, what you're getting, you don't really get, I can say, you don't get really a recap in this. You kind of need to like been reading it since it started, because if you go into this blindly, you have no idea who any of these characters are in here. You know, all you know is there's a group of spawns that are like a dysfunctional Avengers team forced to work together, try to stop Apocalypse. There's now even a freaking like Hulk version of Spawn, which I've been waiting for because I knew it was going to happen. Like you put together like a little Avengers team, you're going to have a Hulk. If you don't, is it really Avengers? It's all right. And the other fun thing about this too is when I learned there's actually like a cyborg Spawn based off the original Spawn, Al Simmons. So it's like Cyborg Spawn, Cyborg Super. It's like it's you can tell people are copying ideas. And then of course going through here, it's really cool. So if you can see more Supergirl's art, there's a Behemoth Spawn, Hell Spawn character. And so basically all through this, there is 2 character deaths. I will not. I mean, they're technically not deaths, but they look like it. So I'm not going to spoil that for you if you are reading it. But like I said, the art on this is cool, and we finally get to see at the end Spawn's here. Now the problem with this is Spawn's like, what have I missed? What's going on here? It's like, dude, if you were like that as great as you are, I mean, he put this team together and just left them. It's like Batman creating the Outsiders and saying, you're on your own. I'm going back to Gotham. Good luck. It's just the point where Spawn is just a useless character, but maybe that's written on purpose to make you love these characters more. Because you do have, She Spawn in there, you got Gunslinger, and then you have the Archangel Spawn, and then there even Haunt. Yes, Haunt's in there. Awesome character. Check out his series he had in the early 2000s. All right. My number, number 7. Yeah. Counts hard. Dawn in the Dark by Joe Corallo of Mad Cave Studios. I did not know what I was getting into when I picked up issue 1. This is the final arc of issue 6. It's a human guy, basically, who needs to. I'm trying not to butcher this. He has a falling out with his wife and his daughter when she's young. So his wife leaves him, takes his daughter with him, and he ends up doing these jobs, basically working for this guy, almost like I want to say like a bounty hunter, but he does stuff. And some of the stuff he does, it caused a rift between him and his estranged wife, who still today some hate to this. So this series takes place like many years after that, and he's basically Joe's overrated. Well, Joey, as I like to call him, he wrote an interesting story. Now I gotta say, I wasn't a fan of the ending, maybe because I like happy endings, and I'm not gonna tell you what the ending is, but I did like the fact that this story is basically about a princess, basically from she's a fae. She's from a different I guess dimension, called the fairy dimension, whatever. Her father was originally basically confined to this small area by the council, because he was becoming ruthless and everything, trying to conquer other lands. And she wanted nothing to do with that. So she ended up running away. And she meets this guy, and this guy ends up basically risking his life to save her so she can go back and take down her evil, corrupt father, King, so she can rule the land, with peace and justice and stuff. Um, Here's some of the art on here. So, I do like the art. I just like it's some of the characters when they draw like the people. Some of it is kind of weird. I mean, we got a buffed up the guy up there. You see him holding the gun to his head on the left there. That's not a guy. That's a woman. A woman who basically works out and it's like is on roids. So, but like I said, ending was kind of sad for me. But I do look forward to reading more by Joe. So, Dolly in the Dark, check it out. Interesting little story. Fun book. All right. My number 6 almost made it into the top 5. But the one thing that irritated me the most is that it's the back. It's basically the whole story has nothing to do with the cover. It's a clickbait cover, which I don't understand. This is because it's cover A. It has nothing to do with none of these characters. Grundy and I guess it's supposed to be Shoes, aka Leanne, who currently, and we saw in Green Arrow, is trapped in the future or another planet, whatever she's at, with her uncle, with Oliver. So maybe it explains why she's not in this, but she's only on the cover. A whole lot of setup, but like I said, it just felt like I waited all this time. It's one of those cases, maybe I reread it, maybe I'll like it more. But it felt like there's so much packed in here, but like not enough like story progress. It's like, I want basically something's gonna go down in Gotham. We get basically Jim Gordon telling detective, or basically I guess she's commissioner now because Gordon retired. I'm so freaking messed up as far as what goes on with where Jordan, if Gordon is now a detective or he's retired or whatever. But I know is Montani's in charge of the GCPD, and he's trying to tell her that something bad's gonna go on, and she's like, and she basically criticizes him because she's, you're talking to him again. You're talking to Bruce, or basically the Batman, and which really pisses me off because she used to be the question. She's no longer the question. She's just a regular chief of police, and she used to work with Batman. And I don't know what it is, but she just it just came off very, very like kind of stupid. She knows that Batman gets results, and she's like, I don't. Basically, her mentality is, I won't work with Batman. I have to rely on my own people. Those are my own people who look like jokes. What's the point of the GCPD? I'm thinking you can work with him, but also train your men too. It's like I said, it's Ram V. I do like the art in here. It's the art has been fun still. I believe it's Dan Waters on the very first, but yeah, it is Ivan Reyes and Stefano Raphael doing the pencil in here. But like I said, I just need to have a little more story progression. And I'm getting sick of the backups talking about, let's talk about who the Arkhams are. I'm like, you've done that so many times in the main story. Why are we doing a second story in the backup? Like, I don't care about what they did, the whole betrayal of Ra's al Ghul and all that bluff. It's pointless to me. All right. So that was my number 6. 5. Gold Lantern. Get out here with that nonsense. I did. Gold Lantern. Somebody mentioned Gold Lantern? I don't know. All right. My number 5 is TMNT Turtles. The new Saturday morning cartoon adventures, or basically whatever you call it. Saturday morning adventures continue. Fun story. It said exceptional art. This is what Turtles have always looked like to me. This is the style it should always be. Is a Saturday morning kind of cartoon style. Uh, yeah. You get to see Shredder and you get to see the Rat King. So basically, what happens in this is that the Rat King actually ends up getting a canister of ooze, or these two idiot drivers were driving, and it bounced off, fell into the sewer. The Rat King, his power, he can communicate with rats, and the rats were always bringing him stuff. They brought him the canister, he held it, and then it basically misted him in the face. He can no longer control rats, but he can only control reptiles now. That meaning the turtles. And so basically they end up becoming heat to him. He finds out that he has control over them. He's going to use them to basically to conquer the city. And meanwhile, Shredder is basically like they run into Shredder and his goons, and he comments. He's like, "Wow, the turtles are fighting without remorse. They're actually trying to kill me with the swords and everything. They're not just. There's no jokes." So, yes, these books are good. If you are 8 or 9, these are fun books to read. And then you can also go and watch the 80s cartoon. It's the same type of humor. Same thing. Is same feeling. These guys know how to capture the actual, this storytelling that they did on the show. It is Eric Burnham with art by Tim Latty and Jack Lawrence. So, like I said, it is very, very cartoonish art. Very kept down to earth. There's no adult ideologies being pushed into it, other than the fact that that they're good guys and they're trying to fight the brainwashing control. And at the end, Donatello basically realizes that after being tased by April, they're being like, no, they basically that's how he's able to disrupt the mind control, because our body's all full of electrical currents. I love the fact that Splinter says April, he's like, I wasn't aware that you had a taser. He's like, well, yeah, it's like, well, it's a dangerous city. I live in New York. Pretty much. Girls gotta always be prepared. So yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to this. This is I would recommend go check out the first volume of Saturday Morning Adventures, which is on I guess it's gotta be it's only 5 books, maybe 6 if you're lucky. It's got to be around the $15 if it's through the trade. Some sort of soft cover, but yep, fun book. All right, number 4 is a book that I just been having fun with. Dalton may not agree, but it is Doctor Strange, issue number 3. This whole entire issue now it's Parlay Day. And Clea wants nothing to do with it. Parlay means it's basically Dormammu comes to Earth and spends the whole day basically with Strange. And they, as their agreement, they're not allowed to basically battle on this day. It's a day of truce. And each day, whatever, after all these years, whatever, I forgot how many years it takes between each Parlay Day, that Dormammu basically finds a willing host, one that worships him and takes over his body. And there is a lot of callback to, I guess, some previous time that they battled. I think, so you get the little notes in here. It says, see strange tales. Sometimes they battled before. And meanwhile, and then we get to hear, more stuff. It says, sees Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme number 2. A lot of callbacks. I mean, Jed MacKay has been doing his homework. He's actually pulling out references to the past times they've met together. Again, get to see here too, Doctor Strange, Volume 3, number 4, Volume 4, number 16. All these different little things. And like I said, the whole point of this is while he's talking to Dormammu, he's actually Dormammu doesn't realize he's actually been giving all these examples that he's defeated him every single time. A mortal man defeated this god, this so-called god. He's actually been talking to the host, the one that's being possessed by Dormammu. Because if he doesn't, Dormammu basically is going to burn up through the host and kill the guy at the end of the day. And at the end, he ends up, of course. This is the problem I don't like. he ends up getting this a little coin, or basic annihilates magic. He gets it from Jean Grey. This is my only problem. I don't need Jean Grey in the book. It's a Doctor Strange book. Jean Grey does not belong in there whatsoever. So it was going great and everything, and then he said he ends up convincing the guy to not give up his life. You have a family and kids at home, and then Clea basically talks to her again because Clea has been suspected of killing the Doctor Strange from a different universe, or not Doctor Strange, but different Sorcerer Supreme from the purple dimension. And she said, and then she says, "I don't believe it." He's like, "Oh, here you go." I say, "I believe your word. I trust you," and stuff, And she says, like, "Well, there's something worse that happened, She got a wedding invitation for her mother is getting married to the Sorcerer Supreme of the Sixth Dimension. So that's how it ends. Some little humor stuff, but overall, like I said, this really hit me. This was actually a really fun story. The fact that he actually went through everything and actually saved a life on Truce Day. Now, I don't know if he's ever done this before, considering that they're implying that they've done this, that they have Parlay Day all the time. So in the past, other hosts have died. He's always failed. So, and Bromwell had said, like, because he actually told Marvel, was like, "I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to your host." He's like, I don't give up on life. I've been trained to, like, that's why I'm a doctor. I never give up. So had a positive little spin. I kind of liked it. But number 3 is Torrent. This is issue number 4. Exciting conclusion to the last issue, where she ended up fighting against one of the, I guess, their Superman guy, and she ends up basically using. Now this is clever. She ends up using a device that one of their villains used. This guy's arch rival had created, and it makes him basically turns him into mortal, temporary powerless. So, and the fact that he trusted her so much that he never questioned her or the device, if she had the device or not. So she uses her advantage. Obviously, she defeats him, and then she's confronted by this old man, and this girl is like, "What do you do? You hurt him. Why are you fighting him?" He's like, basically, like, and they're just kind of a conscience. Basically, like, she's been. She says, "Complicated. It's complicated." He's like, "It's not complicated. It's only as good or black. There's no gray." And then she basically get this a whole Tower of Babel story, which I thought was kind of cool and interesting. We finally get to see all the Praetorians, all the ones that we haven't seen yet, the other heroes, the world's world's greatest and mightiest heroes. Nightwoman, Madam Icon, Ten Force. It's like you get to see all it, and then how she takes them out one by one. I've just been loving this, and she knows they're coming after him, and she has all these different plans. Like, the art has just been fun in here. We have the Justin Green with art, and then Mark Guggenheim really knows how to tell a superhero story. Like I said, going all through this, and we get a little humor teases, like, yeah, that's it. That 10 Force guy, yeah, we used to date. She's like, "Don't judge. I was young and naive." So like I said, it's been fun seeing through this. I'm curious where it's going to go to. Now, this is a spoiler. If you haven't read this is like kind of a big spoiler. She ends up, the guy tells her, "Hey, basically in this panel here, he's like, he's got a gun here. If you don't stop, I'm going to shoot you. And if I shoot you, it'll take away your powers forever." So what she does is she pulls this like Swamp Thing guy that she used to date, her old flame, in front. So it blasts him, and then she frees her, like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry." But then the problem is that he basically ends up blasting her with the same thing. Now she has no powers. So now she's just a regular human being with no secret identity. And then basically, we're left with a little spot. And then this is another spoiler here, Dan. The guy who sidekick wanted to be with her, they found him. He's alive. He hasn't been dead. And he came in with no idea. He's on a coma for weeks. This is the speedster kid that ended up caving in and telling the bad guy who her secret identity was. So he's alive. I'm waiting till when she actually confronts him. What's going to happen? But as my number 3 for this week, man, all right. My number 2 for this week is a book that I know Eric has said that he liked, and I want these guys to write more issues. This is The Rocketeer. It was actually a really, really good book, and this is by Danny Bilson, Paul Diamel, the guys who wrote the 1992 movie. Then we got Kevin Morrow, and then we got Kevin Mao, Robert Wyndham, Craig Samark, Adam Hughes was doing the art of this for the first story, and then Jay Lee also did some art too. But very simple story. I really, really love Adam Hughes' art, man. I just wish he would just do an ongoing series with these guys. Just keep putting them out. Based on the first story, it reveals that when he was young, he met Amelia Earhart, or started Earhart. Then she came for help before he became the Rocketeer. Oh wow, it was just, man, this is great. And we get the little story and I'll talk about he gave her this this 4-leaf clover for luck, when she was gonna go say and in return she gave him her little wings, she had. And since that day after meeting her, he wanted to be a pilot just like her. So when the news came that she basically her plane went down and they found there was debris by an island, they said. And he basically went there to go look for her, this leather, and he comes across her 4-leaf clover. And all you're told is that her husband has legally declared her dead. And there's a shout out, at the end. There's a little photo of just her, Amelia Earhart. And then, of course, we get this to the next one is even just as awesome too, man. He's late to go to this this lecture or presentation at the museum, and she wanted him to dress up nice. She just because the problem is that Cliff always chooses the dates, and they're not that fun dates because either for those who don't know, Cliff always has a nasty habit of getting I guess you call this the Spider-Man bad luck. Something always goes down and he has to get involved and play hero. And she doesn't like that. So, of course, he's driving, or actually he wasn't driving. He's got the dog driving, and the dog had a bone. But then the dog turns, escapes, he crashes off because it saw a female dog. And he sees some shady-looking guys going into the museum. He goes in there, and you see basically everything's going nice. Just down to her. You see a guy giving it. He's got blonde hair. But I'll give you a hint. This guy, you've seen him before, and it says 1939. So you've seen him in other Spielberg. You saw him in a Spielberg movie. He's got a movie coming up this year too. And yeah. So of course these shady guys end up they're gonna rob some stuff. He gets involved. He basically beats them up. So everything is getting worse and worse as they're fighting in the crowd here. And they take her hostage. And then we see this bullwhip grabbing thing. And you kind of have an idea who this character is now. Especially at the end. Right here. This awesome. It's Indiana Jones. We legally cannot say it, but it's Indiana Jones, little crossover right there. And then, of course, we get here to a little short story with Jay Lee doing the art on this. At the end here, he goes against, obviously, some bad guys. It's a little 2-page story. At the end, it goes here. It's just a fun book, man. Everything about this, the art, everything. He's just crashed. And then he kisses his number 1 girl. Betty. and you get to see the pinups at the end here. Like I said, I just want more Rocketeer, man. This is everything that we need in comic books right now. Is this the 1930s? Some really cool stories. And I mean, yeah, you get to see the cover as the version without the text on it. And Hughes. Very, very fun book. And then we get a little tribute here, tell a story about who Dave Stevens is and everything, and how he revitalized Betty Page's career. She said to him personally in 1982, it's like, hey, everybody wants my autograph, and everybody like, and people want to work with me again. Also, because of you, because you did this. So, and here's a little portrait too. Man, like I said, I just want more. And they celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Rocketeer with this beautiful book showcasing the true master of comic art. 2010, the inaugural release of the artist edition line was dedicated to Steve, or the Rocketeer, and the imagination and talent of incomparable Dave Stevens. To commemorate 40 years since iconic heroes debut, Ideophilus offers an encore presentation of that original artist edition, reproducing integral work of comics history meticulously scanned from the original art. And it is on it is 136 pages for $150. So, but like I said, in stock trades, you'd probably get it for half that price. Fun book, man. Like I said, Last Rocketeer, mediocre. This soared to new heights. Man, like I said, it's one of my favorite things. I love Indiana Jones comics, Rocketeer comics. If you guys can just keep putting those out, man, even bring back the Phantom. Give me new Phantom stories, new Shadow stories. Heck, have them all together as a superhero team if you really wanted to, working together. We have Project Superpowers. Why can't we have, all these cool IP characters working together? It'd be awesome, but it is what it is, I guess. All right. So my number one book of the week. As much as I love Rocketeer, I do love this other character a little bit more, and I'm just loving the whole venture. And I know Eric's going to yell at me, like, that's not your number one? You failed me. Venom, Lethal Protector, number 3. I am just loving this series. I love the fact that we have Edward Brock wanted as a terrorist in this. He's not being treated as a hero. He's working for Silver Sable, and he has to go rescue his friend his kid that he was trying to get him out of the bad life. Eddie at this point was trying to change his life. They were trying to make him an anti-hero at the point. So in order, this device gets stolen off the shared helicarrier, and you get this little battle right here at the very beginning. With Doom just basically kicking ass. This is the real Doom. This isn't the Doom bot. He's pissed at him and just basically telling how they failed him, and they're useless. Basically Vulture failed him. And that's the guy is basically getting his cardiac. Man, who as referenced by David Michelin, who is a former Iron Man writer. Cardiac got all of his tech and armor from Tony Stark back in the day. And of course, here Fury's just like, what the hell? Because you can notice that's the helicarrier, and it's crashed in Central Park. And he's like, well, and she says, if it wasn't for Eddie Brocco or Venom over there going out and helping reroute power, we killed a lot of people, more than and you saved everyone's lives. So he basically lets Eddie leave. Now that's something I don't know if Shield would still let him leave back in the day. Maybe because he looks this way, gives him a head start running, whatever. But Shield usually at the point right now that is this other thing device or a group called Vanguard. Now I don't know if Vanguard's made up for this throwback series or if they existed around as well. That'd be an Eric Breen question or Maranya. Not sure. But basically Eddie, he's like, now so I have your little buddy. If you want to see him back, no more Venom. You can't interfere with their stuff. So you get Eddie decides to basically, swings away and comes back and poses as a Shield agent and works with Silver Sable. So this literally is a Silver Sable Venom team up book, which is rare. I don't think I've ever seen those two work together before, and it's usually Spider-Man and Silver Sable, you know. But Cardiac is mentioned a little bit, and then he says, yeah. He says, Tony Stark helped me develop my armor and weapons, but I doubt he would be willing to loan me Iron Man again. Then he says, well, maybe there might be alternatives. He looks at her as well. Basically, these villains that have this alien device artifact that they basically want to do is they can program it to erase whatever they want to erase. So they want to erase humans or erase humans from existence. It's an antimatter device. And Eddie goes in there basically. He's like, "Oh, it's basically let's look. There's a bunch of nuns here. Is this the right place?" He goes in there, and well, they're nuns with attitude. They're evil nuns, and he ends up basically kicking their ass. And she's like, "Oh, you're not gonna do. You're a Shield agent." He's like, "Lady, I am not a Shield agent. You can't focus. Yeah." Yeah, so like I said, I've ended up having fun with this book a lot. And then Venom basically is now because now he's inside the quarters. He got his buddy out. This goes all out, crazy nuts. This is all Farid Karami doing the art. I know I probably butchered his name. So if you heard it the other way, you heard it both ways. At the end, Fury talks to Silver Sable, and then Eddie and Silver Sable kind of go their way. And she's basically says, says your criminal status and growing reputation might make it difficult to arrange, but perhaps we can even work together again sometime. Who knows? Strange things that happen. He's like, yeah, tell us about it. And then at the end, Mr. Brock, do you have a moment? And then who's pulling up in a swanky little this limo? It's Dr. Doom himself. He has a proposition for Mr. Brock because he has a piece of that fragment of that antimatter that they destroyed. They thought they destroyed, but he has a piece of it though. So Doom is going to be in the next issue. I'm just looking fun for this. This looks so much fun. A writer who actually knows how to write Dr. Doom. What more can I say? I've been having fun with this book. Now, as far as for back issues, I'll start off with the trade first. This is the trade I ended up getting, and I got a lot of stuff. I usually hold off on trades because they're expensive, even when they're used. But I couldn't pass this up. My shop is still was still having their half off sale, and I decided to get No Man's Land trade number 1. It's a heavy book. So I've already read this, but it's cool to actually have it in collected form. I'm just going to get some more volumes. So, heavy book, too. So, definitely recommend. If you've never read this, you're missing out on the best story of I guess a 2-year story arc with multiple writers. And it's just one of the best. It's probably the best Batman event. I know people if you want to read a miniseries, there is Batman Year One or The Dark Knight Returns, but No Man's Land, this whole entire event, kicks crap out of anything Marvel's done. For me, you guys may disagree, but I'm loving it, man. It's fun. Now, my only back issue I got. Because, and like I said, I got it. It's sitting in my shop. It's been there for a while. This, I've been eyeing it up for about a good year. I can't believe no one's bought it. You've seen number 2 appear, the second issue of this, over on East Auction. He's had it multiple times. I'm not sure if anybody bought it, or eventually I think somebody did buy it. But this is number 1. It came out in February of 1973. Breen knows exactly what it is. It's a 20-cent brand new issue through DC disacquired this character from another comic book company, and he's the original Captain Marvel. This is not a reprint. This is the real deal. This is the very first issue of his ongoing series. He had a limited ongoing series. I think it went for like 17 issues. But Denny O'Neil was writing Batman at the same time. Took on this, started writing it. This is just a fun book. So that's my fossil for the week. 35 issues? Okay. I stand corrected. But man, oh man. It is just a nice. Look at that Daisy Rider. Look how clean it looks. Look how the back looks. Nice and white. Hasn't been touched up at all or nothing like that. It hasn't been pressed. It's just the original deal. And the great thing is there's no writing on it whatsoever. It is just phenomenal. I can only imagine what this goes for if it's slabbed. I ended up getting it half off, and it was quite a penny for me when I got it. Now, I don't know what, Eric, if you have an idea, a ballpark, what it is, the number one is for this would be, but really happy I was able to pick it up. And I'm looking forward to reading it, and also maybe I'll pick up issue 2 if Engeltine has it over at his auctions. But yeah, I guess it's ironic that they show Superman on the same cover as a big red cheese, given the lawsuit that DC had over Marvel's publication because Marvel was too close to Superman overall and also sold better. But yeah, when I saw it, I was like, wait, Superman's on this? Wow. Yep. And yeah. And this, I guess, is, you say, is proved by the Comic Code Authority. The code thing. $120 mint. Just, yeah. I get it for cheaper than that. He was selling it, originally selling it for her $113. I got it for half off. Because it's anything on the wall or so I paid like half of that. But like I said, there is no spine ticks whatsoever. It is just awesome. The only thing I can see is by his boot there. There's a little white mark there. Other than that, it's just a fun book. Yeah. How do we know if this is the real Dr. Venkman? Oh. How do I know you're the real Rhaegar? I've never seen you. Thanks, Eric. I knew you'd like it. I was like, I'm afraid to touch it because I was just like, it is a nice looking book. That's the only time I'll ever take it out of the bag is you saw it there. I am not going to take it out of the bag again. It is going to go straight into a storage area. I don't want it to get damaged whatsoever. There's no creases. There's no folds. It's just straight up. It's just beautiful. But that is for the week. I don't have anything else, man. I wish one of you guys would have hopped on. Maybe should have some of your books, you guys, But yeah. So I still got 11 people watching. So, what book did you guys like the most that I had? I know Eric said he liked the Rocketeer. Anybody else have a specific book that they liked they got this year, or not this year, but this well, I'd say yeah. Is there a book you got so far this year? We're now into June 1st. Is there a book that you bought that you are really proud to now own, or maybe it's a book that you've been looking forward to having for a while and you finally got it? Or I mean, or you can make it simple. Is there a book you bought this week that that you liked? But not seeing anybody else, seeing what else they got. Usually there's more people, but overall, like I said, I'm just excited that I actually got that stuff. So, all right, thanks. Art and Doctor Strange is a bit off-putting to me, but the story's been solid so far. Yeah, that's the thing. I guess, like I've always said, if the art is great, I mean, actually, take it back. If the writing's great, I even Rossmo. I mean, if I had Venditti writing an awesome story and Rossmo art, I would stomach the Rossmo and I would just look at the words and I would just read the story and I can just I can. We're all comic book nerds. We can all create we all have an awesome imagination. We really just need to read. All we need is the words. We really don't need the art. But yeah, yeah, Doctor Strange. I love those stories like that where all they do is he had a parlay, true state, and all the whole entire thing was just showing flashbacks, and he's basically telling Dormammu was like, dude, what are you talking about? Because he's basically telling him all the different times he did that he defeated Dormammu, and Dormammu is like, okay, well, we told times that I defeated you, and and he's like, yeah, every single time, yeah. And I love at the end, he's like, because I was on week, I'm like, what's going on? Why is he just? They're just having a day, he's possessed some schmuck. But and at the end, it's just I love the fact that Doctor Strange is like, dude, I wasn't even talking to you the whole entire time, Dormammu. I've been talking to your host. Running him that life is worth living. You have and you have a family. You have 2 kids. You have a good job. You have what most people seek. Is love. And he just says, like I said, I'm just a mortal man who basically has defeated a self-proclaimed god. Is this the guy you want to worship? Who gets beaten by a mortal man, or do you want to value And at the end, I love how the guy says after Dormammu is basically cast out of him, he says he's crying. He's like, dude, since a little on, I've never known anything but the cult of Dormammu. He was raised in the cult, So, so I was just thinking, like, are his family members of it? Because as far as he's getting, he just kisses his wife and then gives the kids, and then he leaves to go for work. Like, do they even know that he's part of the cult? Is it, or are they all like in on it, like Scientology? Like it's a family affair, But I don't know. For tomorrow, there isn't anything. There might be a rating. I'm gonna try to wrangle some people. I know Marania. I think you'll be around. Breen is iffy. You said you're working on your computer. Zach's out of town. Pixel will be around. It's his last Friday and he's available to do stuff. Crappy Man's out. Trusty, and I'm not sure if he's gonna be around, but we're gonna. I mean, if it comes down to worse for worse, we will have either a few people reading a short story or a short comic book. We could like we did last Sunday, I think it was. Marvel Team Up. Or we will have, just a recorded reading. Retrospective, I was talking to Eva Black Cat. He was thinking about doing what was it? Let me look here real quick. He said either Detective Comics number 572 or Green Arrow Longbow Hunter. I mean, I've already read the Longbow Hunter like at least several times now. Let me guys know. Do you want us to do Longbow Hunters? Because I'll do Longbow Hunters. I'm thinking for that for tomorrow for retrospective. Might just me and him, but definitely stay tuned. There will be stuff on Sunday as well. There will be another reading, and yeah, hope you guys had fun tonight. If it's been an hour, I've been by myself, just rambling, talking to myself, and then reading your comments. The bit about "Get Behind Me," Doramu had me chuckle, especially when he explained the narrative that all the devils are basically the same. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that was kind of funny too. Like I said, Jed McKay, we call as we go Jed or Jed Mid McKay. You know, sometimes he writes books that are slightly above mid. You know, but I want to say he is the good kind of mid. He's more the older style mid versus today's mid, where it just barely squeaks by. It doesn't help him. It'd be like if you like. I look at today's writers. There's a lot of writers who can't write, and the ones who can write are basically forced to write whatever is going on in the current story arc stuff. So basically, if you had like, imagine John Byrne or Chris Claremont being forced to write something and then asked to adhere to whatever some idiot wrote as far as virtue signaling. Can you imagine them trying to do that? I think they would quit. I think they would just go to a different company. We've seen this before with Byrne. Byrne left Marvel, go to DC. But then I thought he went back to Marvel then. But I could be mistaken. But all right, guys. Yeah. So if you haven't already done so, please subscribe, click the like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know what books you got this week. What books did you saw in this little review here? Which ones did you like? Do you like when I show the books, going over them, and just show the interior, or do you prefer just to do like you like here's this, the next one, here's this, next one? Yeah. And also, if you want to leave a little Ko-Fi, a little tip, $1 or more, basically make you eligible to basically choose our next next retrospective or our next reading. So keep that in mind. There's an incentive that for those who donate to the channel, the money goes towards basically, obviously, to StreamYard, which is the monthly expense, which is $25 a month. DC Universe, which is a $75 annual fee. Marvel, I think, is $95. Don't quote me on that. So the money helps to basically Puppeteen, helps Sam basically pay for everything because he is the guy who's doing it. So if you can help him out, lighten his load a little bit. Wednesday nights, they were down to just one review. It's Superman and Lois. Since the Flash is over. Ironically, for those who want to watch the Flash now after watching our reviews, you can watch it on Netflix. It's been uploaded entire the 9th season. You can go fast forward and cringe. And then as far as we're gonna have readings on Fridays and Sundays, unless announced earlier that we're not. But Tuesdays and Thursday nights, man, check us out at 8 p.m. Central. We do this talk about comic books. It's fun. And maybe if you want to join me on a live review, maybe if you want a guest star here on Thursday nights, showing up the books you bought this week, you're more than welcome to. This give us a little heads up in the comments beforehand. All right, guys. I hope you had fun. And if you want me to never do solo again, just leave a comment down below because I prefer having someone to bounce my conversation off against it. Not that I like paying attention to the chat, but a lot of times I've tried to I think it feels more exciting when Zach's here, so me and Zach can riff off each other. Otherwise it's you guys just making fun of me in the chat, and I don't like that. That's not good, right? Anyway, I'm rambling. Have fun, and I'll see you tomorrow. Later, guys.